3 years have passed since Cyan the hero sealed Hell's Gate. He has sealed the Hell's Gate with his Excalibur sword, but soon the seal has no longer worked, causing the demons to come out and attack the human world. 3 months after that, in the village of Cheza, Tuka Scott is seen harvesting radish and meets Yuna Eunice, his childhood friend. They talk about Cyan and the demons that start wandering around and attacking the humans. Tuka seems to underestimate the matter, and Yuna always sees Cyan as a great hero. Tuka doesn't care about the demons. What matters to him is his field in Yuna is safe and sound. Moreover, he has prepared a pitfall with bamboo inside. They keep talking until a demon appears. It attacks the village and almost eats Yuna. Tuka tries to lure the demon with his roasted pork, but the demon ignores it and is ready to attack. But before the demon can launch its attack, Cyan comes and kills the demon with his sword. Cyan and Yuna then talk and make Tuka jealous. Their conversation is stopped by the sound of Cyan's stomach. Learning the hero is hungry, Yuna offers him to go to her house. Cyan feels happy, but later he smells Tuka's roasted pork and rushes to get it. Unfortunately, he falls into Tuka's trap and is impaled to death on the pointed bamboo. Everyone then blames Tuka for the accident. They then agree to bury Shin's body and make up a story that the hero is killed by the demon. However, as they bury the hero, they are unaware that someone is watching them. The next day, Tuka wakes up like usual, but he is surprised to find his body has turned like Cyan. He goes to Yuna's house to ask a favor, but she thinks he is Cyan who comes back to life. At first, Tuka wants to deceive her by pretending to be Cyan for his own purpose. Yuna hits him with a stick and tells him he smells like a corpse. Yuna thinks he is a monster after seeing his eyeball fall off. Tuka then admits that he is Tuka. He mentions their childhood memories they only know to convince her. When they discuss why Tuka can be inside Cyan's body, they suddenly hear laughter from Tuka's field. She is Anri Hamsworth, a necromancer. It is revealed that she is the one who put Tuka's soul into Cyan's body. The girl asks Tuka to save the world. Anri tells them that she once traveled with Cyan and promised him to give his body to another person when he died. Tuka initially refuses it, but Anri threatens him, saying that Tuka's real body is in her hand, and if he refuses, she will make him lose consciousness forever. Finally, Tuka accepts it, and Yuna even offers herself to join. Tuka and the company set out on an adventure. They arrive in Burn City and they start to prepare for their journey in the city. However, they find that they don't have much money. Tuka asks Anri whether the king gave them money 3 years ago. Anri replies that they didn't go to see the king due to her necromancer skills. Tuka wants to use Cyan's fame to fulfill their need, but is refused by Yuna and Anri. They then go to the Adventurer Guild to find a job. Tuka is left alone and is approached by 2 girls who invite him to their store. They are not sure about Tuka because there have been many false heroes recently and Tuka's stinky odor. Tuka denies it and comments he hasn't taken a bath because he was busy adventuring. The girls call someone who once met the herb. The man states Tuka does resemble the hero, but later he denies it after he finds out Tuka is weak in a duel. Yuna and Anri are in the Adventurer Guild and find a suitable quest for them to subjugate the demons. They encounter Kyle Osment, who was the hero's comrade. Kyle asks where Cyan is and Anri replies Cyan is dead. On the other hand, Tuka is tied up in a pole and is mocked by the citizens. They order Tuka to prove that he is the real hero. Later, Kyle appears like a hero and asks them to take him down. Kyle asks Tuka to imagine his sword getting bigger and it works, but the sword suddenly bends. Yuna also helps by giving him the quest, stating if he can subjugate the demons, he is the real hero. They are in the inn. Tuka asks Anri why his body is rotting and the sword is bent. Anri explains the power of the sword is determined by his mana. Tuka also needs mana to maintain his zombie body, but he only has a little mana in his body, which causes all this to happen. Anri then gives him a magic crystal that can be used to chant the spell. It will light depending on its user. Tuka holds the crystal and shows dim. Kyle offers himself to be the hero, but is turned down because the one who can be the hero is the person who kills Cyan. Kyle draws his sword and asks if he kills Tuka, Anri will acknowledge him to be the hero, but Anri won't change her mind. Kyle will also help him to annihilate the demons. Later that night, Tuka wakes up and intends to take his real body and Anri's necklace. He sneaks into the girl's room, but his focus shifts to the other thing. At the same time, Kyle also enters the room and attempts to destroy Anri's necklace. His attempt fails as the defensive spell is activated and prevents him from taking it off. Seeing that, he escapes right away and the girls wake up after that. The scene is witnessed by Tuka, making him think about how to get through. The next morning, the 4 of them and the citizens depart to the demon's den. On the way, Tuka and Kyle talk about the incident last night, but Tuka doesn't seem to be aware that Kyle is nervous for some reason. Tuka decides to keep Anri by his side so that Kyle won't be able to kill him. Arriving at the demon's den, Belarko, the spear warrior, states he will enter first, but is taken down by an intermediate demon. The demon uses magic and causes everyone to run away, including Tuka. The demon stabs Tuka's heart, and Kyle immediately attacks the demon and defeats it. He takes the demon's heart, a magic crystal, to prove that they have subjugated the demon. Kyle then gives the crystal to Yuna so that she can use it. Suddenly, more demons appear from the forest. Everyone runs in fear, including Tuka. They run to the building behind them, unknowing that more demons are waiting. Anri uses her necromancer skills to fight the demons. Kyle provides his aid to Anri to defeat the demons. Meanwhile, Yuna runs away because she is stripped off by the demon's attack. Tuka runs after her with his hand melted from the demon's attack. Tuka and Yuna manage to defeat the demon in the next room using Tuka's sword that wraps the demon and Yuna, who can use magic. Suddenly, Kyle comes and makes Yuna faint. Kyle shows his true nature and states that he is envious of Cheyenne, who was chosen to be the hero. Kyle wants to kill Tuka so that he can become a hero. Kyle attacks Tua and has him cornered with his weapon pierced into his body, but is stopped by Yuna, who regains her consciousness, and she kicks him hard. Anri and a demon come and launch an attack on Kyle. It is then revealed that Anri is a demon in human skin because she has a crystal heart. They run and hide with Tuka's sword ability. In their hideout, Tuka listens to Anri's story and he promises to treat her like a human. They then make a plan to defeat Kyle. Finally, Kyle is defeated after he falls into the sea with Tuka's trick, taking advantage of his sword, which he transforms into a bridge. When they return to the city, their crystals are taken and the money is also taken to pay for what they did. Tuka then comes up with an idea to go to the royal capital to ask for money from the king. However, he panics due to his current condition, which looks like a skeleton. He asks Anri to return him to his body, but is refused by her. She states that if necromancer magic is repeated to a specific subject, it will affect its mentality. After listening to the explanation, Tuka transforms his sword into a mask and puts it on. Tuka is in the kingdom of Farum and is meeting King Larfet VIII. When the king asks Tuka about his intention of coming to the kingdom, Tuka answers that he needs money, but the king laughs, remembering Cheyenne told him that a hero doesn't need money. For some reason, the king assumes the hero in front of him is willing to marry Marguerite. When Tuka denies it, the king challenges him in a duel instead. Thus, Tuka immediately agrees. He is then brought to Marguerite's room by Isaac Gardner, Marguerite's tutor. Tuka knocks on the door and Marguerite opens the door, but she closes the door again, thinking it is a monster. It turns out Tuka's mask is smudged. Tuka then explains that he is cursed so that he is wearing a mask. Marguerite pulls Tuka into her room and apologizes that his father arranged the marriage for them. She asks him if he wants to marry her. Tuka doesn't have any other option but to confirm it or he will be killed. Marguerite smiles happily and asks him if he wants to go on a date with her to a mask festival the day after tomorrow. In the town, Yuna and Anri read the announcement about the upcoming mask festival. They decide to come before they continue their journey. They encounter Leland Tallman, a doctor and the director of an orphanage in town, who notices that Anri is a necromancer. They are invited to his house and talk for a moment. They are informed about how to increase mana with a potion, but the potion costs almost 100 million. Leland offers another payment method by examining the necromancer's crystal heart, but is refused by the girls. Finally, they go to earn money by fighting the demons. In the battle, they meet Ciruela Carmen, a member of the Four Knights. The woman can defeat the demons easily. Later, they meet two people who invite them to cooperate. However, they end up being trapped and captured. In the palace, Isaac scolds Tuka because Marguerite suddenly faints due to running out of mana. Tuka is even not aware of that. Isaac then gives drops of soma to restore her energy. This attempt works, but Marguerite needs to eat quickly so that she can recover. Meanwhile, Ciruela reports to the king about what she went through during her duty. She found the demon's flesh scattered in the forest. It is revealed there are many citizens went missing in the capital. The king thinks of delaying the festival, but Ciruela calms him, saying that she will send her troops and the hero Cheyenne will come for help. Tuka decides to look for Yuna and Anri in the town, but he cannot find them. He is informed that two girls were in the orphanage just then. Tuka decides to go there and meets Marguerite and Isaac. Tuka asks Leland about Yuna and Anri, and is replied that both of them departed to hunt the demons and will return soon. Tuka feels relieved and decides to return to the palace with Marguerite and Isaac. Afterward, Leland goes to the secret room to meet Yuna and Anri. Leland is revealed to be the person who trapped Yuna and Anri. He wants to turn Yuna into a skeleton. He even states that he wants to turn the princess and everyone into skeletons in the upcoming festival. Furthermore, he will put Anri as the black goat to blame on. 2 days later in the festival, Marguerite and Tuka are having fun and are followed by Isaac. He seems to be aware that Tuka is not Cheyenne, the real hero, and he promises to protect Marguerite. Marguerite slaps him hard on the face as he insults Tuka. Tuca enjoys his time at the festival by trying several rides. Unbeknownst to them, Isaac has sent Ciruela to keep an eye on them. Ciruela looks alert with Tuca because the princess seems to be talking to a skeleton. Marguerite then invites Tuca to a quiet place, stating she wants to see the fireworks. But actually, Marguerite is suspicious of him. She asks him who he is. Suddenly, Isaac and Ciruela appear from behind Marguerite. Discovered, Tuca then tells them what happened and tells them that Cheyenne is already dead. As Isaac and Ciruela corner Tuca, they lose Marguerite. The girl runs in the crowd. She doesn't believe that the hero she loves has died. She wonders what her goal now is because she is prepared to marry the hero. On the way, she runs into Leland. Leland then takes Marguerite to a quiet place and starts to talk about his plan to take her flesh and blood and turn her into a skeleton so that she is not sad any longer. Suddenly, Tuca arrives and attacks Leland's underlings. As he swings his sword, Tuca notices that they are only skeletons due to necromancer magic. Caught off guard, Tuca is sent backward by his enemy. Tuca declares he will save Marguerite to apologize to her. One of the enemies slashes him and cuts off his head. Ciruela arrives and hunts down all the skeletons. She accuses Tuca's friend as the mastermind of the incident. Ciruela orders her underlings to stand guard while she finds Tuca. In Yuna's place, she is still tied up and talks to one of her kidnappers. Finally, she manages to release herself with her power and beats the man. Returning to Tuca, he is now with Isaac and Ciruela. He tells them Leland is the person who did this and kidnapped Marguerite. He states he will become the real hero by rescuing Marguerite and freeing him from the death penalty for pretending to be Cheyenne. Tuca has an idea to sneak into the building by pretending that he caught Isaac and Ciruela. Isaac blames himself that he made Marguerite go to Leland for help without him investigating Leland's background first. Suddenly, the wall beside them collapses and they spot Yuma there. They rush to rescue Henry and Marguerite. In Marguerite's place, she is still tied and Leland is about to proceed with a ritual. Leland uses an invisible crystal, which is the inheritance of his family. The crystal will show the real human form skeleton. He assumes if everyone becomes skeletons, there will be no dispute in the world as they all look the same. From above, Tuca and the others watch him and make a plan to defeat him. Yuna goes to beat Leland and snatches his mask, while Henry takes over the skeleton's armies. Ciruela and Isaac appear after that. Ciruela will chase the demons and tell the others to catch Leland. Yuna manages to knock him down, but he still has the magic crystal in his bracelet, causing more skeletons to appear. Leland orders the skeleton to charge forward and succeeds in hurting Isaac, who tries to protect Marguerite. Tuca immediately transforms his sword into a wall and they run away from their enemy. They finally get out of the building and deceive Leland with Tuca's plan using 7-colored wine as traces of Isaac's blood and makes Leland and his underlings confused. Yuna and the others admire Tuca and ask him who he is. Tuca tells them what happened before the Hell's Gate opened when Farum and Arat Kingdom went to war. His father brought him and his mother to the capital. His mother died and his father ran away. He tried to hide and find a way to come home, and it gave him many tactics and strategies. Now they are confused about what to do because they must be discovered before Leland runs out of his energy. They don't want to steal drops of Soma, but you must have had it all. Isaac then mentions a way to increase magic energy by taking Marguerite's body fluids. He explains that people with magic energy disorders cause the body to expel magic energy through fluids. He assumes that Marguerite's fluids contain magic energy. Thus, they attempt to make Marguerite excrete her body fluids through sweat, tears, and urine. Surprisingly, Marguerite says she is willing to give her body fluid to Tuca, but he stops her. Tuca comes up with an idea by using Leland's necromancer skill. He will strike Leland and will focus on his skeleton armies. As Tuca is about to attack Leland's bracelet, Leland has already displaced his bracelet. From behind, Henry and Yuna have defeated some skeletons. Tuca has prepared for the failure and asks Marguerite to attack the bracelet from the forest using the bow, and they get to capture Leland. When they are together, suddenly a demon comes carrying Ciruela, who is unconscious. It's a high-level demon and is a necromancer. Tuca is attacked by the demon as he tries to protect Marguerite. Isaac tells Marguerite to run away while he, Yuna, and Henry will deal with the demon. Marguerite cries at Tuca's body, who is dying from the attack. Her tears flow down into Tuca's mouth. Thanks to her tears, Tuca regains his energy and regenerates his body to fight the demon. On the other hand, Diego Valentine, who controls the demons, is surprised to find his plan fails. Friedrich Norstein, a necromancer, is also there. They will take revenge on the hero for the incident 3 years ago. The next day, Leland, who has been captured, becomes mad from drinking too much Soma drops. Meanwhile, Ciruela is injured and is treated by Isaac, who now becomes the director of the orphanage. Marguerite instead has recovered from her disorder after crying. After that, they bid farewell to continue their journey. The king gives them a magic cart. Isaac tells them Margaret cannot take them because she is training with her new master and gives them a letter. In her letter, she tells them she has prepared a gift for them in the trunk. It is revealed that the gift she means is herself who will join them. 15 days later, Tuca trains with Marguerite, but he slowly runs out of energy. Marguerite only brings 5 bottles of Soma drops. Soon, a bird comes carrying a letter from Ciruela. The letter says when they exterminated the demon, the royal sorcerer saw a spirit fly to the northeast. The demon was possibly controlled by the other necromancer. Ciruela tells them to go to the northeast to take a look at it. Anray concludes if there are necromancers alive, they must be wanting to take revenge for the incident 3 years ago. Tuca decides to reply the letter, saying that Ciruela must look at it by herself because he needs to focus on the Devil's Gate, and his friends agree with him. That night in the inn, Yuna and Tuca have a conflict. Yuna gets out of the inn and runs into many strange people. She is bitten by one of them, which causes her to feel dizzy and have a fever. Tuca immediately makes a wall from his sword so that the people cannot see them. Yuna notices something that she was bitten and she will become like them soon. Yuna then tells Tuca to leave, saying they must separate ways because she hates him. However, Tuca doesn't seem to care and he fights the weird-looking people to be with Yuna. As he is cornered, Balarco helps them from above on a condition that Tuca must admit he is not the real hero. They then decide to go on. On the way, Tuca and the others get attacked by a group of people. Fieri and Doherty will stay and deal with them and tell the others to leave immediately. When their carriage is back on their route, they are trapped and fall into the ravine. They survive after Tuca turns his sword into a bed. However, their carriage is damaged and they decide to walk to the nearby town. But suddenly, fog appears and there are many traps. Millie even gets trapped and has to fight the demon. They gather and protect each other. On the other hand, Sion's body, which is controlled by Henry, is let to walk alone. Above the hill, a woman who makes the fog stands watching them. It is revealed to be a magic fog that can remove the aura around them. The woman manages to take down everyone but Tuca, who's still in Yuna's body. Tuca pretends to give in and gives his sword to her to survive. After the woman gets down and picks up the sword, she is shocked by her enemies who suddenly wake up. It turns out her plan has been discovered because Tuca can feel their energy with a crystal. The woman is revealed to be Tuca's master, Ethelbormain. Later, Tuca reveals his own identity by asking Anri to show the woman the living coffin where his soul is kept, and he will explain it later. Tuca explains to his friends how he met Ethel for the first time and became her disciple. He then asks his master why she helped the demons. Ethel replies she went to the Hell's Gate and saw something that changed her mind. She then suggests that they should go there to see it by themselves. Ethel spares Tuca this time because he is her disciple and walks away while carrying the holy sword. Tuca stops her and asks her to accompany him to the Hell's Gate. With this tactic, he manages to make Ethel admit defeat and end up helping them. Diego and Friedrich watch them with his power. Diego is impressed that they can defeat Ethel. Meanwhile, Friedrich remains silent looking at Henry, saying he hasn't seen the girl for a long time. On the other hand, Balarco with the mayor is fighting against the demons and manages to defeat them. The mayor then shows Friedrich a magic boat that will take them to the capital quickly. Returning to Tuca, they are on the magic carriage. They are heading to the magic workshop to get their carriage fixed. Surprisingly, Ethel recognizes Fieri and they get into an argument. Arriving at the workshop, they are surprised to find the workshop is no longer operating. Ethel and Tuca try to break into the workshop and find an old man named Rito Braden, Cheyenne's grandfather. Rito explains it takes 2 days to get the carriage fixed, but with Marguerite's intelligence, she must be able to learn and help Rito getting it fixed quickly. On the other hand, Fieri and Ethel start sharing information even though they have argued before. Fieri asks Miley to explain about their sword. Millie explains that the sword is the artificial holy sword, one of the 4 holy swords made by magicians and craftsmen around the world. Although the sword cannot seal the Hell's Gate, it can defeat the Dark Lord's dukes. Ethel also explains that the necromancer they fought against before keeps the corpses of the 4 Dark Lord's dukes. Moreover, she explains there are many demons in Albania, and they aren't likely to defeat all of them in one day. Ethel asks Tuca, assuring that he doesn't care about the world. However, Tuca replies it was him 3 years ago, and now he wants to change and save everyone. After that, Tuca and Millie are sparring near the river. Millie draws her sword on Tuca like they used to do. Tuca, who runs out of energy, surrenders right away, much to Millie's disbelief. She is not certain that Tuca can save her sister like what happened 3 years ago. Millie knows that Tuca is the one who saved them with his traps, and she confirms with Cheyenne about that. Afterward, Tuca exclaims that he will go to urinate. However, something happens and he is suddenly sent into the past. Tuca thinks about how to come back and save Yuna. After thinking about it, he decides to prevent Yuna from turning into a demon. Tuca walks the entire town and puts on thigh-high stockings for the girls, but the people seem to not notice Tuka's presence until he meets Yuna. It is revealed that they are in the memory world made of magic. Yuna follows Tuka everywhere he goes, but people cannot see her. She cannot touch anything but Tuka and the things he wears. They watch the entire town and assume that it is not the past, but the world created by their memories. They try to find a way to get out of the world. Tuka then suggests that they go to places he has never been. They run fast until they find a white wall in front of them. As they get through the wall, they find themselves in Tuka's memory at different times. They keep going and moving from one memory to another memory until they are in Tuka's memory of when he was dying when he tried to go home when the Hell's Gate opened. At that time, they accidentally reveal their secret that moved their hearts, such as Yuna's letter that encourages him and Yuna's apology as she finds out Tuka saved her 3 years ago. Suddenly, a demon appears and approaches them. The demon is revealed to be the cause they are trapped in this illusion world. Tuka grabs Yuna's hand and passes through several memories because he wants to be at his strongest time. There he beats the people at that place, and they arrive at the memory of when Tuka and the others were at the forest to fight Leland. The demon explains his power has some flaws, such as he cannot control Tuka's power in his body, which is not conscious in the real world will be easily attacked and stop what he has done. But it can be overcome because his friends have attacked Tuka's friends in the real world. Furthermore, the demon explains that while in this illusion world, he manages to read Tuka's mind so that he cannot defeat him. Tuka doesn't stand still and attacks the demon, but is knocked down easily. They then notice the demon has a flaw that the demon cannot see Yuna, who is next to him. Yuna then climbs onto Tuka's shoulders and controls his body, and they finally manage to make the illusion world destroyed and they return to the real world. As Tuka opens his eyes, he finds Yuna in her form while she was in the illusion world, but this time, she cannot touch her. Meanwhile, all the demons have been defeated and their carriage has been repaired. They soon depart to the capital, Elvania. On the other hand, Cirilla is annoyed when she reads Tuka's letter. Rosalie Cheris, the court magician, asks her what's going on. Cirilla explains what happened, and Rosalie calms her, saying she doesn't need to worry because he has sent his magic army to investigate and they probably have found that place. Meanwhile, Yuna has returned to Cyan's body, but he still can see the consciousness projection of Yuna who gets out of his body. Everyone cannot see Yuna but himself. Tuka explains what he experienced with Yuna. Anrai explains that Yuna's and Tuka's spirit are connected because Tuka possessed Yuna's body. They then decide to hide Yuna's body in the trunk of their carriage. On the other hand, the mayor and Galarco arrive at the capital. They still have 13 to 14 hours left before the people turn into demons. They report to the king and the mayor admits his stupidity. Meanwhile, Friedrich warns Diego not to send people to play around because Ethel betrayed them and Neff is dead. Diego mocks him, saying that he is just being afraid. Furthermore, he comments that he will win no matter what. Friedrich doesn't seem to believe that. Suddenly, several people attack them from the ceiling. They are from the kingdom's magical forces. Diego chuckles and states that it will prove his power if he defeats them. One of the knights cut Diego's head off, but he can regenerate it. It is revealed that he uses the Hell's Duke's power. He replaces the magic crystal with the Duke's corpses and a living coffin in his hand. The knights are defeated easily by Diego and Friedrich, who are helped by their necromancer skills. Diego even summons the Hell's Duke, Vertex, to kill the knights. Seeing her knights killed, Cirilla falls silent. The king then orders Cirilla to mobilize all forces to strike. Right after that, the mayor and Belarco arrive and ask the king to send all the royal knights to help the Molan people. Cirilla then asks the king's permission to ask favor from Kyle, who is in prison. In Tuka's place, he and Fieri finally become a team. There, Leto gives them the communicative device. Tuka is shocked by Leo, who can see Yuna. He then gives Tuka a cloth made of the demon's skin and tells him to put it on Yuna's body, which will also cover Yuna in her astral form. They then depart and Ethel joins them. Cirilla and the others also depart. Even Isaac joins them because he is too worried about Marguerite's safety. Meanwhile, Tuka and company are in the carriage. Melly talks to Tuka and discusses the reason she becomes a hero. She explains she wants to make a peaceful world and bring Elvania back to peace. Soon, they reach Elvania. Tuka has prepared a plan and asks everyone to help him. They are suddenly attacked from above, but they can dodge it. They enter the town with Shannon's shield. As they reach inside, they are greeted by several demons and skeletons. As Tuka speaks to his enemy, Ethel suddenly stabs him from behind. Due to this sudden attack, Tuka cannot anticipate this and he collapses. It makes the skeleton in front of them believe that Ethel didn't betray them. Ethel says she wants to bring Tuka's body to Diego and the others. However, it is revealed to be Tuka's plan. They use Anri's skill to pull out Tuka's spirit from Cyan's body and return it to his real body. As a result, Tuka and Yuna are able to catch up with them. Anri suddenly comes and states she wants to join them. She refuses to stay, although she is asked to. Finally, the three of them run to find their enemy. On the way, Tuka falls and faints. He thinks it is the effect of soma drops he took or because he moved to the other body. Once they get there, they find 3 girls are being tortured by the demons. They think if they help them openly, they will get caught. Therefore, Tuka has an idea to deceive the demons and help the girls. Later, more demons approach him and ask him for a favor to free her queen, Queen Adele, from Diego's grip. Tuka, who is still in disguise, is taken to meet Queen Adele. Tuka introduces himself as Tuka, a wandering demon. He states he is interested in the queen's idealism and wants to join her. Furthermore, he states that as a sign of getting to know each other, they must touch each other's foreheads. Without hesitation, Queen Adele does what he instructs and puts herself to sleep. When he is about to kill the queen, he is suddenly attacked from below and makes his demon body split. Henri manages to save him in time. Later, it is revealed that Friedrich is the one who did that. Friedrich appears from behind the wall. He greets Henri in a friendly tone. Henri smiles while looking at him. Henri approaches Friedrich and calls him Big Brother. Outside, the skeleton armies are briefed that the hero has entered the ruins and are asked to hunt him down. Tuka uses his communication device to tell his friends that they are safe in the ruins and asks them to divert their attention. Inside the ruins, Friedrich tells them that the revenge is just a ploy to gather their friends who are still alive. Furthermore, he explains that their goal is the nobles and the kingdom. They want to overthrow the kingdom and make a safe world for necromancers. He also feels sorry for the Mulan people who become victims of their plan. Friedrich tries to ask Henri to join him but is turned down. Henri states she wants to keep her promise to the hero. Although she loves her brother, she prefers to save other people's lives to take other people's lives away. Suddenly, Diego appears with the Hell's Duke, Vertex. Vertex casually eats Queen Adele and absorbs her energy. Diego then arrogantly challenges Tuka in a duel so that he can save everyone. Outside, his friends succeed in distracting the skeleton army and defeating them. Inside the ruins, Tuka negotiates with Diego that he will fight him if the Holy Sword is returned to him and that they will fight on top of the Tower of Sacrifice. Provoked by Tuka's words, Diego asks Friedrich to give the Holy Sword to Tuka. Now, they are on top of the Tower of Sacrifice. Diego possesses Vertex and starts to attack Tuka quickly until he is sent flying and hits the wall. Diego approaches Tuka and wants to attack him again, but suddenly the floor beneath him collapses and he falls. There, Ethel is ready to strike Vertex with her lightning magic. It turns out Tuka has prepared this plan and asked Ethel to get ready. He contacted his master through their communication device. This surely makes Vertex regeneration skill unable to match Ethel's attack. From the top of the tower, Friedrich appears and is going to attack Tuka, but Tuka quickly possesses Cheyenne's body. He drinks soma drops and jumps. Tuka lengthens his sword and attacks Diego, but his attempt fails because Diego manages to absorb any magical skills. Tuka flees after destroying a pillar that hits Vertex. He runs toward Yuna and Henri. Yuna says she saw Cheyenne fight Vertex by making branches from the Holy Sword. Just then, Marguerite informs them that they have reached the top of the nearby cliff. However, Diego comes and asks Tuka to fight again. On the cliff, Marguerite fires the arrow but is dodged by Diego with his defensive magic. Tuka starts attacking him. He makes the Holy Sword to attack at several points, being helped by Yuna, who's floating behind. He plans on draining Diego's energy but fails. Even so, they find Diego's flaw, which is in Vertex's forehead because he is a zombie. As Tuka prepares to strike, he collapses because his magic energy vanishes. He wants to take soma drops to regain his magic energy, but this is prevented by Henri and Yuna because he has drunk 4 bottles and it will have a serious effect on his body. He then asks Henri to move his spirit so that he can find Diego's real body, but he needs to drink soma drops to recover his mana. He takes the soma drops, but his body cannot handle it and he faints. Henri wants to proceed with the necromancy to possess his body, but she notices that Tuka is still alive. She then decides that she will buy some time for Tuka. Suddenly, Kyle comes from the other direction to help her. Kyle's appearance means the reinforcement from the kingdom has also arrived. Diego looks around and is surprised to see his troops are fighting against the royal forces. He eats demons around him to absorb their power to fight Kyle. In his subconscious, Tuka meets Shen. Their scion thanks him because he is willing to protect everyone and sacrifice his life for other people's sake. Tuka thinks he must run away from Cheyenne so that Cheyenne cannot catch him. He arrives in front of a mirror that reflects his desire. Cheyenne explains that he will get what he wants in the world behind the mirror, but he will never come back to save Yuna once he gets there. Tuka remembers about Yuna and he blames himself and thinks he is already dead. Cheyenne then explains he is still alive but gets lost in the mortal world. The world he means is the realm of the Holy Sword, where the hero's spirit died and Tuka is the next hero candidate. Cheyenne shows him the exit of this world, and without further ado, Tuca runs toward it to save his friends. Returning to the battle between Kyle and Diego, Tuca suddenly regains his consciousness and he asks Henry to free his body from the living coffin. He drives the holy sword into the ground and a light suddenly appears from the holy sword. It is revealed that Cheyenne's spirit gets out of the sword and moves into his body and helps Tuca defeat Diego by cutting Vertex's body. Tuca takes the chance by aiming at his forehead, causing Diego to return to his real body, which is in the forest. Diego wakes up, but he cannot move his body. He sees his friends coming, but later, two demons also approach him. They are Queen Adele's underlings. They avenge their queen by killing Diego. In the end, the demon Vertex is defeated in time, saving everyone including Yuna and Colin. They hold a feast to celebrate their victory. At the party, Tuca is surrounded by many girls. Yuna, who watches this, immediately pulls Tuca's hand into a room. Tuca thinks Yuna wants to thank Cheyenne for saving her, and he states he will summon Cheyenne if his mana is recovered. But Yuna denies it, saying that she is glad that Tuca saved her. After the incident, Yuna is getting closer to Marguerite and Henry. The three of them become best friends and rivals at the same time to win Tuca. Before Cheyenne disappears, he tells them their next destination and asks Tuca to increase his mana level before going to Hell's Gate to seal it. He knows friends who can help Tuca with this matter. He then asks Kyle and Dorothy to take Tuca to his friend's place. His friend he refers to as the Sage. After they are ready, all of them set out on a new adventure. This is the end of Yuusha x Shinda. Thank you, keep watching the content from this channel. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can keep you updated with our latest contents. See you in the next video.